I'm counting down the top 20 Nikkes in Nikke Goddess of Victory. Number 20, Mast. I don't think a lot of people know what to do with Mast, but she can be found on a lot of pro player teams. She is a burst 2 unit, and she doesn't have a cooldown time, which is extremely helpful when you're trying to fill that burst 2 slot. She pairs extremely well with Guillotine, whose attack greatly increases when her HP is low. Mast does this by temporarily increasing your max HP by a very high amount. This will trigger some of the skills of units who require their health to fall below a certain percentage. That includes units like Guillotine and Scarlet. Mast can also increase your critical rate, so when matched up correctly in teams, she can help do a lot of damage. Number 19, Privity. Privity is quite a strong attacker, and that really helps players through the early parts of the campaign. Her wave clearing and enemy stunning abilities can be really helpful, especially in the PvP arena. Sometimes a few extra seconds are all you need to turn a battle in your favor. Number 18, Biscuit. Everyone likes Biscuit, but I don't think everyone truly knows the untapped potential of this unit. Biscuit is one of the few units who can increase your cover, but she can also serve as a healer to supporter units, making them invincible for 5 seconds and healing them up to twice per battle. Biscuit herself is small but mighty. Number 17, Noise. Noise can heal, taunt, and increase your defense. She's good for early chapters of the campaign and is practically unbeatable in PvP, especially if you've invested in her a lot. Unfortunately, she does have some cons that prevent her from being ranked higher on my list. She has a high cooldown time on her burst, isn't as strong as other healers, and can die easily if you don't have another healer on your team. She also can't be the only burst one you have, or you won't be bursting consistently. She can only be a god tier level unit if you've invested in her quite a bit. Number 16, Makima. She kind of fell off in popularity within the last few months, but when Makima first came out as part of the Chainsaw Man collab, she was everywhere in PvP. That's because not only can she taunt enemies, but she also becomes invincible for a length of time when her health reaches 0. Even if a lot of people don't have her, and she's not as common anymore, I definitely still sigh in frustration whenever I do come across her in PvP. Number 15, 2B. Even though she's a limited edition unit, 2B is actually a really good attacker if you have her. Not only can she deal insane amounts of damage, but she can also distribute damage while also increasing her max HP continuously. She does require a lot of skill upgrades in order to be great though. Number 14, Jackal. A severely underrated unit, Jackal fills your burst gauge extra fast and causes damage to be distributed amongst teammates. This can help to tip the scales in your favor, especially when a boss keeps targeting a specific unit. Jackal has become a PvP staple, since most of the time, whoever bursts first in PvP usually gets the last laugh. Number 13, Ludmilla. I am a Ludmilla fan to my core. That's my girl, that's my mama, and my mama can have whatever she wants.
That's my mama. She can have whatever she wants, because that's my mama.
Maybe I'm biased, but Ludmilla is probably the best taunter in the game, especially if you invest in her. She can be the only burst one on your team because her cooldown time is only 20 seconds. If you have Biscuit on your team, Ludmilla actually becomes invincible for a short time and gets healed by Biscuit up to twice per battle. So, Ludmilla can be really helpful, especially if you don't have a lot of pilgrims or burst ones with short cooldowns. Number 12, Guilty. Talk about a reformed convict. Guilty really got out of prison and turned her life around because we need her on our team. Not only is she a rare burst 2 unit with practically no cooldown time, but she can also duplicate the highest attack of a unit on your team. And this stacks up to 5 times. She can die pretty quickly without a healer, and shotguns can be limiting, but the damage she can do on the field is insane. She's especially good for bosses. Number 11, Scarlet. Probably one of the best units for wave clearing and piercing the shields of really stubborn bosses like Mother Whale, but Scarlet's biggest downside is that she requires a lot of investment if you want to prevent her from dying quickly in battles or running out of ammunition. Her attacks literally diminish her own health, so you always need to run her with a healer. Number 10, Red Hood. She would make the top 20 just for being a versatile unit alone. You can use her as a burst 1, burst 2, burst 3, or use her for an entire burst cycle by herself. The best burst is obviously her burst 3 skill though, which can just practically nuke single enemies with her increased charge and pierce shots. Number 9, Naga. Unlike her partner unit, Tia, Naga can actually succeed as a stand-alone unit. She can provide health and cover assistance on her own. If she's paired with a shielder unit on your team, such as Tia, she also gains pierce and delivers crucial core damage. Number 8, Noir. The best part about Noir, besides her zeppelins on her chest, as Privity refers to them, is that Noir makes it easier to destroy interruption parts on bosses. For bosses like Gravedigger, she's a must-have unit. Number 7, Blanc. There's really nothing bad that you can say about Blanc as long as you've paired her with her sister in battle. She shields and heals and has virtually no burst cooldown if Noir is on your team. If you don't have Noir, then Blanc's cooldown time goes up to 40 seconds, making her practically unusable. So it's really important to have both of the bunnies on the same team. The only skill that doesn't really matter for her is the one that activates after delivering so many attacks. Since Blanc has an AR, her attack time isn't the fastest, so you aren't going to fire as many bullets to activate the skill. Number 6, Miracle Fairy Anne. People can say this is a gimmicky unit all they want, but Miracle Fairy Anne is the only other Nikke in the entire game that can revive fallen Nikkes. That is such a beast skill to have. Even though Miracle Fairy Anne's revive skill only applies to attacker units, and her burst cooldown time is quite long, she's really come in clutch when I've lost units like Noir early on in a battle. Number 5, Leader. Her knees probably crack when she bends down, they ain't fresh out the box no more, but Leader's skills are still surpassing even the newest Nikkes. She's able to do a lot of skills that are usually only available to specific niche units, such as increasing your attack, healing your cover, and reducing the cooldown timer on your burst. Which means you can fit her on just about any team, in any mode. Number 4, Anise Sparkling Summer. Even though she's a support unit, Sparkling Summer Anise's damage output is almost as good as an attacker. She also deals more damage to boss interruption parts. She's absolutely one of the best shotgun units to have on your team. When she's paired with electric teams, she also increases their elemental damage, but her own damage upon bursting is amazing by itself, and her reload speed boosts up significantly as well. It's hard to find shotgun units that are able to fire as many rounds as she does after bursting. Number 3, Dorothy. I find her branding skill to be essential. It basically fills up with damage and then distributes that damage to all your enemies. She also reduces burst cooldown time, so she doesn't really have one, and you shouldn't need to run her alongside any other burst ones. Number 2, Ludmilla Winter Owner. With certain overload gear effects, you can make her have almost unlimited ammo, and she's extra helpful in bosses because of her core damage skills. Number 1, Rapunzel. I doubt I have to explain this one too much, but her ability to revive a fallen Nikke is by far the most valuable skill to have in the game. Her burst has the longest cooldown time, so you have to pair her with another burst one on your team, but Rapunzel just can't be overlooked. Let me know who your top favorite Nikkes are, who you use on your team, and what your opinions are in the comments below. Thanks for watching!